There we go. Hey, everybody. It's bad when Pop and Gary are giving us a hard time for not being exactly on time with the live punks.
Oh my god, right? They're just
I know
throwing shade.
you get talking and
Well, Gary, they're both trouble, so you know.
they are trouble. Pop with a capital T. So yeah, we'll give everybody just a minute or two to join. Man, my Facebook Live looks like it's I don't know. I need to go kick Facebook's butt. But we're live on YouTube, so huzzah. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I am here with Ren, and we're going to talk about her recent release. Welcome to the show, Ren. It's been good. You were one of my first interviewees, so I feel like we've come full circle in all of this.
Oh, right. Yeah, because that was like last year, right before LitRPG Con, we were doing
right before. Yep.
It was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. I have been a fan of you. I've been following you on Royal Road for years at this point. And I've read just a lot of your stuff, and it's fun. I just finished thank you so much for giving me an art copy of The Silent Blades, and I finished it last week, and it's good and exciting, and it's got some twists and turns in it. I'm really excited to get into it.
I'm very excited for it to be released now. I have been dying to talk about this story.
Yeah.
So very much so excited for this.
How long have you been sitting on it and kind of waiting for this moment?
So I started writing Steampunk Ninja in like 2012. So Silent Blades, the original working title for it was Steampunk Ninja. So if I slip back into that, that's why.
Okay, noted. Got it.
It has been around. Yeah, it's been a story that I've been working on for over a decade. Just started out as something fun, like a mixture of, my love for anime and just stuff that I used to talk about with my friends. And then it's been a story that I've kept coming back to because I really liked the characters and world. And eventually I got good enough as a writer that I was ready to, release it.
Yeah, you're like, I can finally execute the dream.
Right.
Yeah.
Took a little while to get there.
How many books ish has it taken you to get here?
13.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess technically like 11 or 12. I mean, so Flamespitter is kind of the peak that I felt like I evolved as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
For everything, like Flamespitter was like really where I stepped up on my storytelling. And then also on top of that, though, since I know you've read it, the Infinite Tower.
Infinite Tower, yep.
So those two, definitely writing those helped me feel like I had the skill set needed to really create and turn the Silent Blades into something that would be consumable.
Yeah. I mean, it's Flamespitter is also one of my just like all-time faves in LitRPG. Honestly, I've talked about that's what I interviewed you on the first time, was the Flamespitter book. And I mean, so you went from like cowboy LitRPG gunslinger to steampunk ninja. I'm excited to see what you bring in 2026, because you said you have maybe 5 books coming out this year, so we'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah. So, but let's talk about Silent Blades first. It released, was it yesterday?
It released yesterday, yes.
Yeah. So you can go out and you can get it on Kindle Unlimited. You can get it on Amazon, and just like go check it out, folks. It's fun. I finished Monday, and just a short synopsis. This is the Reck synopsis here. The book follows Trisha in a coming of age sort of story where she's like very quickly, kind of backstory, like trained to be a superhuman sort of soldier, one of the Silent Blades. And her job is to protect what's left of humanity against like these post-apocalyptic abominations. Then she gets souped up. I don't know if I want to reveal why or how, but she gets souped up.
Upgrades, people.
Yes,
upgrades.
She gets some major upgrades. And there's also this element, there's like a love triangle kind of thing that's going on. There's a lot of like, who do you believe? Who's telling the truth about what's actually happening? And it's a fun book. Yeah. So
as I say, Jessica said it was full of all of the angst when she was narrating it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is it Jessica 3? Is your narrator?
3. Yeah. Jessica
is it out now?
It is
on audio? Okay.
It is. We simultaneous all the things.
Yes. Okay. So that means I'm gonna have to listen to it now because Jessica's one of my favorite narrators. So yeah, that's
She cried narrating it.
did she? Yeah.
Yeah, I was hanging out in her live when she was narrating it, and she started crying at one of the scenes.
That's
So then I was
yeah.
apologizing. I was like, I'm sorry.
How does that feel to make readers cry?
Terrible. I don't like making people cry. I'm too nice for this game.
You're like, no, I don't like torturing people. I don't know. That's fun. All right, we're gonna switch views so we could get into it. So Ren, you're gonna be at a number of cons, and this is one of the first like Road to Jordan Con interviews that I'm having because you're gonna be at Jordan Con, right?
Yes, I am officially a guest for Jordan Con, so this will be my second time going.
Yeah, that's which I'm super excited. I think everybody wants to know if you're going to be bringing your vat of jungle juice to Jordan Con too.
I definitely have intentions to create another concoction, as we
Dun,
lovingly
dun,
call
dun.
them.
Mm-hmm.
How one might acquire them while at the convention is yet to be decided, but
Yeah.
I will definitely have some. I'm also going to be bringing some baked goodies, so I'm probably bringing back the cinnamon rolls that I was handing out at Dragon Con.
Excellent. I think I
Along
was
with
one of the lucky
fudge.
recipients of one of those cinnamon rolls. That was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. We've already got some questions in the chat. So Jen wants to know they wanted to say that the cover is beautiful and they want to know who your cover artist is.
So I'm not sure on the Silent Blades, and that's just because this is my first book with Athon. And so Athon was handling all of the cover art. And so they just asked me for the cover brief. I sent it to them, and then they would send me mock-ups of stuff as we move forward. So I don't know the artist that they used there. Usually I do have the name of like the artist that I've used for my other covers, but this was my first time with Athon, so I have to be a little. I don't have all of the sway.
You don't have
that
all
I
the
do.
details. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the plus side, they did a beautiful job. I mean, it's a gorgeous cover. Yeah.
I was so hyped when I saw it. I was just, and then like as like the process is going, like they're bringing my vision to life, and they're like, what if we do this? And they like show me something. I'm like, oh my god, like this was so much better. Like,
yeah.
Huh, weird. This is why you guys are a publishing company.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's like they know what they're doing, right? Yeah. I love it. Well, when we see you at Jordan Con or LitRPG Con or Dragon Con, whatever con that you go to, how would you like us to address you? You are in Royal Road or Galax, right?
Glyax, yeah.
Glyax, and then on your books, sometimes you have Jonathan Smith, sometimes you have Ren, and then obviously you're on here as Ren. How would you like people to address you when they meet you at a con?
Ren is totally fine. Jonathan Smith's just a pen name, so I run around with Ren all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Ren, thank you. All right. So let's talk about Silent Blades. When we first discussed this book, you mentioned that it was going to be kind of a standalone lit RPG. But actually, after reading the ending of the book, that's not exactly what you're doing here.
I mean, it's technically a standalone from Trisha's point of view.
From Trish, yeah, absolutely. Talk about the strategy with this book. It is going to be. It's not your typical lit RPG where it just follows a character all the way through the end of a series. Talk to us about.
It's so it's first, it's a cultivation novel. Well, progression fantasy, not cultivation. Sorry, it's progression fantasy. So it's not lit RPG.
I was sitting here. I'm like, did I miss something? It's
cultivating. They're cultivating, all right.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. So it's not lit RPG in that there's no numbers. So I don't want people going in expecting numbers because there aren't numbers. So we are listing it as progression fantasy. But that being said, yes, book one is a standalone in that it follows Trisha's story. Without spoilers, the ending does leave it up that the world could be further explored from the point of view of a different character. With another kind of plot set, but not necessarily like needed. And so that is because when I wrote it, like I said, it came about as being like a love child of my joy for anime. And as we know, anime don't always get second seasons, but there is a trend where they'll leave off to where, there is the potential for a second season if everybody enjoys it enough. And so that is kind of the similar vibe of what's going off here is I would love to write the second one. And Athon has already told me, if it sells well, that they want a second one. But at the same
So
time,
go buy it,
writers,
folks.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
writers got to pay bills first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And as at the very least, it does have a conclusion, and it is a standalone. So I'm not leaving a series hanging because I hate that.
Yeah.
And so I don't have
Well,
to die from guilt.
yeah, I appreciated that about Flamespitter too, that it's a full book in and of itself, right? And you could just walk away and it's okay. I mean, this one you tease a little bit more of like, okay, there's maybe
Right.
more to come,
I
but
was terrible about that in Dungeon Core Online 4. Like I had the ending and I'm like, hey, this is happy. You can walk away right here, but there is an epilogue, and that is going to cliffhanger you so hard into book 5.
yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I mean, also you write on Royal Road, right? So Royal Road is kind of the space where it's like, how many cliffhangers can you fit into,
I,
this
I
space?
I don't even do that intentionally. That's just apparently I write. I at one point in time, especially when I was really popular on Royal Road back in the day, and we're talking back in the day, like 2019 Royal Road days.
Yeah.
It was the running joke was one that I write short chapters. So like in some of the discords, they're like, oh yeah, the chapter length is a glix. It's just this like 1,000-word long chapter. Like, how is that even a chapter? And I'm like, hey, it has exactly what it needs in it to tell the story. And so then people just started saying I was like a drug dealer because the chapters were so short, but they'd always have like little micro cliffs, and then they'd keep pulling you in, and then you're like, oh, just one more chapter, and then you would get a resolution.
They're really
but then
short, so you might as well, right?
exactly, you'd get the resolution, but then something else would start that's interesting. You're like, oh shiny, oh shiny, oh shiny, and so that's like the ADHD version of drug dealing chapters.
Dun, dun, dun. I mean, there are worse things you could be dealing than stories. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple more questions and comments. Iron Eyes wants to know if you are going to be playing Magic at the con.
I will probably bring decks with me, but it's really a toss-up. I know I brought Betrayal, the board game, with me to JordanCon last year, and just we didn't have time. Like JordanCon was such a busy nonstop adventure and party.
Yeah.
LitRPG Con, I brought decks with me, and I think I played one game of Magic, and then just got caught up in the whirlwind of all things conventions. And I never bring cards with me to Dragon Con because I'm definitely never playing cards. So usually the only convention that I get to play a lot of Magic at is Magic Con.
Yeah, it makes sense. We'll talk about the con a little bit, and we'll talk about the con in a little bit. But cons are just like if you're on panels and you're an author, and it's just like nonstop sprint. Especially if you're herding up people to your room to partake.
That was JordanCon last year. It was the running joke was the amount of people I had in my room.
Yeah. Well, hey, makes friends, right?
Just heading up the elevator with different people every like 5 minutes. Everybody's like, what's going on in her room?
Yeah. Gary wants to know what there were cinnamon rolls.
There were cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
You missed out. I was handing them out.
Yeah.
Everybody loved them. It was good fun.
Yeah. And Broken Joker says, looking forward to starting this one. Have a few hours left of Silverlight Hunter, then plan to start it. So yes, all right, we're already on like one person's like next TBR. So yes, winning it. Yeah. Well, okay, so let's get into this. I told Pop that he would love this because it is very post-apocalyptic. The world's kind of apart, but like destroyed, but
right.
We're trying to save it. The Silent Blades I'm just gonna say it's like a themed superpower set. That doesn't give away too much.
Right.
Can you talk about the inspiration behind like the powers? You said steampunk ninja, which now in hindsight, looking at the book, I can see that. But tell us a little bit about the inspiration.
So the inspiration for the story in and of itself, honestly, I was just like brainstorming random things with friends. Way back in the day, I used to spend a lot of time at hookah bars. It was the hangout place for me and my friends. So you'd sit around, we'd be, out until 2 a.m. just bullshitting, talking about stories and thoughts and anime we'd been watching and cool concepts and everything. And so it kind of originated from just a late night talk, and then I would write a chapter at the hookah bar, hand them my laptop, be like, read this, and then write the next chapter, and so on and so forth. And so it was like a trend I could be seen in the back of the hookah bar, just typing away little stories, and people would come in and be like, hey, do you got new chapters for us? And so it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I can't really go into too much detail on the stuff without really spoilers, but it was essentially a way to try to make each of the top 10, so the top 10 members of the Silent Blades are called the Pure Blades. So it was a way to try to make them like stand out in a unique enough fashion with a world. I'm going to use the word system because we're LitRPG fans, but it's not a system. Both a world system that like made sense for what I was going for, of like the hierarchy and the tiers and everything.
Yeah.
So it's probably like a play on like my love of anime, but then also unintentionally like leaning into the different like mythos of the world. Because I was a big mythology kid growing up too, so I definitely noticed a lot of different mythologies blend into my stories unintentionally.
Yeah, there's yeah, you go read it. We're gonna leave it there and not dig in a little any deeper because again, spoilers. And honestly, I will say as I read the book, you know, it starts off and you're like, okay, you know, ninja powers, you know, and as it goes, I was like, oh, like wait, like there's several points in the book where I was like, I didn't see that coming. That makes sense. I mean, like it makes sense, but it was just it was surprising in a good way. It wasn't the progression and the method of progression and stuff, which just wasn't as predictable as I thought it was going to be at the beginning of the book. So
you had to be just as surprised as the characters were.
Yeah, which was perfect. Yeah. Okay, so in the book, there's different factions that are at play, and the main character has that moment. You know, it's like, who do I trust? Am I going crazy? Am I the problem? What's you know, like, who am I going to go in? Who am I going to move my chips on to? Can you talk a little bit about how you think about like building that sort of tension in a novel? I mean, you just said you as the reader only get to know as much as the main character gets to know, but like how do you do that in your book?
So I'm a pantser.
Fair, yeah.
Like 100% pantser. Like I just sit down and let characters figure the world out, which is probably what helps me in those situations because I don't know. And so if I don't know the big surprises that are coming, I can't predict them or like layer things into where the character has some knowledge that they shouldn't because I don't have that knowledge. I always wish, because that question gets asked to me a lot. It's like, oh, you know, how did you plan this out? You did this so well. How did you? And every time I feel so bad. Like I feel like such a fraud because I'm always like, it happened.
Just yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go back and layer things in through the editing process, or is it mostly a first take?
It's mostly a first take. I generally try to write as clean as I can.
So what you need to be is just like, you know, straighten your tie and be like, it's just my genius.
I mean, you've read my stuff on Royal Road. I don't like that's all just rough draft. Like the moment I finish writing, I usually put it to Patreon, and then when it's time to put it on Royal Road, I just copy and paste. I don't edit any work until the story's done. Once the story's done, I'll go back through and do like developmental editing to like try to clean things up, try to, you know, make things cohesive and not sound completely ridiculous. But when it comes to trying to like seed in or adjust things, I really don't. And I think part of that might be laziness. But also part of it is because I'm a perfectionist. And if I let myself try to really overanalyze or be nitpicky or, you know, deconstruct the story to reconstruct it into the perfect version, I would never get there.
Yeah.
And so I try to just like make sure it's all cohesive, make sure it reads well, make sure it's fun, make sure all the story elements are there, but also know that at that moment when I wrote it, that was the best I had. And I can't stress.
I need to like clip that because I think that's something I struggle with. I go through a couple reviews of it before I even post on Royal Road, and then like between Royal Road and like I think I added 20,000 words. I was talking to Stacy about it. I was added 20,000 words to Stumbling Up One from Royal Road to the
Yeah,
release. Yeah.
I usually do add like 20 to 30,000 words to 100. Like if the rough draft was 100,000 words, I usually do end at like 120 to 130,000. But it's not from like editing and story elements. It's usually when I write, my rough drafts are going to be a little more bare when it comes to like the descriptors. So when I go back and edit, what I'm really going back to edit with is like the paintbrush to add in the color of the world itself.
Yeah.
I'm going into add more realism, add that feeling, the sounds, the tastes, the touches, everything in that aspect to paint the picture fully. So it's like I do the full sketch, which is, you know, the story, and then I'm going back with the paintbrush to bring it to life, but it's not to adjust the sketch anymore.
Yeah. No, that's good. That makes sense. I think that I don't know, as a fellow pantser, sometimes when you're getting the story out, it's like get the story out, worry about the paintbrush later, like just get it out. And I think I people like look at me like, wow, you add words when you edit. It's like, yeah, and I think you put your finger on it that it's mostly you know, the main part of the story isn't, maybe there's an extra scene here and there, but for the most part it's descriptions. It's making sure I didn't describe the same thing the same way 8 times.
And then when you're adding in stuff, if it is adding in a scene, you're adding in a scene purely because when you were pantsing it, you didn't know that the characters would do that, or that would be a scene that would happen. And then once you pantsed past it, you're like, oh wait, this could have been great for the characters, and they've actually hinted at it or alluded to it now.
Foreshadowed just a little bit. Yeah.
So we're just gonna go back and put that scene in because why not? It sounds fun.
Yeah, because we can. Yeah. Well, talk to me about how you build an apocalypse, and it's, I mean, how do you? I know you said that you pants it, but yeah, how do you know how the apocalypse happened when you first started, or was that all pantsed?
So it started. So the Silent Blades started. First off, we were like I said, I was chatting with my friends. And then like somehow we got to talking about ninjas. I think we were probably talking about like Naruto or something around the time. Probably Naruto and Bleach mixed together because we definitely were chatting about those. And then it was like, oh, you know, how'd be cool if like you had a ninja, but they had like the steampunk arm and all of this. It's like, well, what type of world would create, you know, that type of a situation? And like, what would the enemies be? And I was like, zombies, but like with mechanical upgrades. Like, let's have steampunk style zombies for them to be fighting and all of that. And so that was like the premise. And so then I was like, took that idea and I'm like, I sat down and I'm like, how are we going to do this? And I was like, okay, well, let's just start, you know, writing to see what happens. And so that's why like, this is part of the rewriting. So Steampunk Ninja, Silent Blades did get written a lot, like rewritten a lot. And so
I mean, it's been around for a while, so
it's been around
at least
for a while.
mentally in your head. Yeah,
well, it got completely rewritten, but I just had the old draft up, and then because it would have been impossible to edit it based off of how it was with my new style of writing and the improvements. Like it was just easier to have one Word document up with the old version, read the chapter, and then just write that chapter again, but in my new voice.
Yeah.
But so it was definitely like some of the scenes that got alluded to or like mentioned with like her past hadn't been mentioned early on, but had been pantsed later. So in that, for that case, now I'm contradicting myself. Silent Blades is a special exception because again, it's 15 years in the making. So I rounded up, but otherwise, with regards to the apocalypse and everything, it was just kind of here's these, you know, I've got a concept for what the main character is going to be. I got a concept for the enemies. And then I just kind of sat down and started writing. And it was like, what type of world would be conducive for this? And it's like, okay, well, it's got to be post-apocalyptic. It's like, okay, fine. But then I'm like, what type of apocalypse? Because if it's completely everything's destroyed, like if we're Walking Dead leveling it to where, you know, or, you know, World War Zing it, then that doesn't allow you to build an organization that would have been training her for 15 years. So like you needed a place that has headquarters. So you need these types of like restrictions with regards to like when the zombies are out versus when they're not, and resources. And so from there, like the wheels just were turning as I was writing, and it was like, okay, so here we're building up this organization. She gets trained for 15 years. We've got a reason for revenge, but in those 15 years, obviously everything gets, run down and destroyed, and the population is like barely hanging on. And so it's like the tatters of society, because obviously you needed an event that would like create this type of a dire situation, and more so an upheaval of society, to then allow you to have an organization like the Silent Blades come into being to, be pseudo protectors for the society in a way that wasn't questioned or wasn't, fought against, because that's always a thing with like, post-apocalyptic environments, is once the governments fall, it's like, who takes over?
Yeah. It's funny because as you're talking, I'm like reminding myself that you're a pantser, but like I think that people underestimate, like we all have our thing. So you're like, well, how would this society produce these people if it's post-apocalyptic? Like when do the zombies come out? Like all of this, unfurling of an apocalypse in detail. It is an amazing amount of like logic and thought that goes into developing just like the scene of the book, which is the post-apocalyptic world, right? Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's like the pantsing in real time, though. Like these types of conversations are actually like what's going on as I sit down and write, but like on a subconscious level. So it's like I'm not putting that thought into it as I'm writing. Like I kind of blank out when I write. It's like just the screen, and then it's like it's there. But those are the types of things that my mind's doing. And so that's why, like, if people ever sit down with me, like they're like, oh, what's your story? What's the story you're working on right now? And they want to start talking to me about it. Like the brainstorming that happens so quickly, like the world gets developed ridiculously fast without me realizing it, because I get to just talk about it, and then my brain's putting it all into words and building things, and I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah no, that's fair. And I mean I haven't played Magic with you. I'm not a very good Magic player, but Iron Eyes, I don't know if Iron Eyes has, but I imagine somebody that thinks like that is a deadly Magic player.
I used to play competitively.
Yeah, I've heard that yeah, I've heard that you're pretty darn good. Well, we've got some more questions to go, but if you've got any questions from the audience, go ahead and type them in there and we'll make sure that we get them addressed. So yeah. The other book I wanted to talk about is your recent Royal Road release. Recent in like January-ish, right? But Tamer's Gauntlet. I've read the first bit of Tamer's Gauntlet. How's that going? How are you finding Tamer's Gauntlet and the Royal Road experience right now?
I've been having a ton of fun with Tamer's Gauntlet. Royal Road's been kind of slow for it, but that's totally fair. I was lazy.
It's kind of Royal Road right now. Yeah.
It's Royal Road right now, unless you like reach out to, everyone and their mother to try to get like shout outs done for you. It is what it is. But the reception's been pretty good. It's got about 200 followers, 11 reviews. That was the hardest thing. Is like I've got a steady group of readers. Like the chapter read through rate and everything's really good, but people just haven't left ratings or reviews, which obviously affects it, which then keeps it from rising stars, which is like the only way you actually get like a fast growth on a story. Otherwise, it's just slow growing as you release chapters weekly. But it's not a big deal in and of itself, because everybody that's reading it has been enjoying it, and I'm having a lot of fun with the world. And Athon's already set up to publish it, so
nice.
It has a home, and it will be polished and brought to life in all the great ways. And it's been a ton of fun to write. Flamespitter definitely had me deciding that I really like writing first person stories over third person. And so diving into Tamer's Gauntlet, getting to write from Taylor's point of view has been absolutely pure joy, especially with just the shenanigans that have been happening in it. And then creating all of the muns in it. that is, I feel like that's one of the things that I got like, notorious isn't really the proper word for it, but from, everybody that's read most of my backlog, they know that if there's one thing that I shine through with, it's creating ridiculous creatures
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
really bad names.
Yes, remembering Dungeon Core. Yeah, there's a few names that, yeah, made me chuckle.
I have terrible jokes, punny names, and ridiculous creatures, and that is what Tamer's Gauntlet embodies, while also scratching that Pokemon nostalgia itch, and then having a main character who's like literally is just very much so you guys think I'm the chosen hero, but I'm not about that life. Bye.
Yeah, Taylor's definitely got that, like, I'm here. I'm gonna figure this out. I don't want to be the chosen one.
Right. No, she's like, I'm done with that. This is nope. I've been through enough, once in a lifetime experiences. I'm gonna go off and play Animal Crossing in a corner.
Yeah, this is for me. I'm just gonna collect these cute animals, and it's gonna be amazing. Yeah.
You guys worry about your world. I'm gonna be in the corner.
I Royal Road has you've been on Royal Road putting out works for at least 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. I started at the end of 2018.
Okay. Yeah. So how has it changed over the last 7-8 years? I mean, it's a little bit different experience than it was back in 2018, 2019.
Well, one of the biggest differences is the sheer number of new stories every day. When I first started, there really weren't that many new stories being posted every week, or even every day. So, like, I was just writing really a bunch back then. So I'd upload like 2 or 3 chapters a day. But I could upload a chapter at like noon, and it would still be like chapter updated on the front page for like an extra hour or 2.
Yeah.
So you had a lot more ability to get visibility that way, because people would just come out, hanging out, and be like, oh, what's getting updated? What's the chapters? And then it also had it to where back in those days, a story couldn't hit Rising Stars until 30 days. So a story had to be on Royal Road for 30 days. And then once that 31st day hit, it could magically like end up on Rising Stars. And so it wasn't as competitive.
It's like an incubation period.
Yeah. As so it was based more on like the organic growth first and foremost. Whereas now the trend is, because you can get on Rising Stars very quickly. And so the trend is, you get a bunch of shout outs really early on, get that boost, and then within 10 days you're on Rising Stars and you're shooting up through the ranks. That wasn't a thing way back in the day.
There's a lot more like marketing involved.
Ads weren't even a thing, I don't think, when Dungeon Core Online started on Royal Road. And like the cover I had for DCO when it first started was absolute trash. Like it was just giant meme, and it took off.
I'm not sure the giant meme ad, I mean, that is such an element of Royal Road ads though too, is that they are all kind of memey and
oh no, the cover was like made in like 3D paint that had like a green floating eyeball, and it said much cover, such wow, real cover coming later. And that was nice. Like it.
Yeah.
And then like blocky, terrible word art, Dungeon Core Online. Like it was absolute hot garbage.
Oh, that's class. Yeah. You need shirts with that on it.
The original cover art.
Oh. Yeah, the original Royal Road cover art. Yeah, that would be amazing. Microsoft Paint.
So bad. Yeah, it was 3D paint. I made it in like 30 minutes. And it was just to throw something up on there.
Well, for Royal Road, and correct me if I'm wrong, but not everything you've got on there has made it to print necessarily, or is that
correct? No, the Infinite Tower has not been published.
Okay. Yeah,
I think everything else has. Yeah.
Okay, and not everything that you've put in print was on Royal Road, correct?
Correct. The Elemental Dungeon series, so Bone Dungeon, my debut was not on Railroad. I didn't know about Railroad until after I finished Bone Dungeon. And then Bone Dungeon was in edits when I found Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was bored, so I just started writing a new book and uploading it to Railroad because I got instant gratification because people would read the chapters right away. And it was like very much so catching that old vibe of, hanging out at the hookah bar and everybody's just like, where's the next chapter? Because
You're like, it's 1 a.m. You're like, hold on.
I get head pats and I make a new chapter really quickly. Like if it's just me in solitude, I'm like, here comes the next chapter eventually. But if people are like, hey, where's the next chapter? Where's the next chapter? I'm like, here you go. Things. Shiny.
Noted.
Throw more cookies at Ren.
Yeah, we want more Tamer's Gauntlet. We just got to increase the comment count. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I love it.
I'm simple.
Well, as a veteran of Royal Road, what is a way that readers can help? I mean, obviously there's the rate and review. I mean, it's crazy how many people read and comment, but they won't review your book.
Yeah, as I say, rate and review is massive. Following a story is really important because the system weighs a follow heavier than I think just a regular rating. Question mark, maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. And it seems like the algorithm
keeps
changes
changing
over time
and shifting. But yeah, follows, rates, and reviews are the best way to help an author on Railroad. Because those are all things that the algorithm will weigh. And then past that, the ever present that every author will ever tell you is just like word of mouth, like sharing the story around. Because more eyes means more potential follows or likes or ratings or reviews, which moves things forwards. But even past that, leaving comments on chapters, like authors like to know that their stuff's being read. Authors like to know that people are appreciating it or enjoying it or having fun with it or having thoughts on it. Like being an author is a very like quiet, lonely life at times. Like we spend a lot of time in solitude with just the voices in our heads. So some outside human interaction is always very, very much so appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a thing on Royal Road where people will leave like thank you for the chapter or just that abbreviation of thank you for the chapter. And even that, I mean, I think there's this idea that just in general comments can help you on Rising Stars and stuff too, or just like, it's like you're giving the author a cookie. Like, thank you, I read it. Thank you for the chapter. But I live for days, even if somebody's like, oh, I really hated what you did with this chapter. I mean, somebody's reading it. And most of the time you get like, you get that, oh, that joke was funny, or I can't wait to the next chapter, or why do you leave us in this cliffhanger? Give us the next chapter. You get like that sort of stuff, and it really does drive the motivation to put the next chapter out.
Well, that's like I only ever did this with Dungeon Core Online, but I actually used to run polls on it. So I would run polls and be like, hey, we're getting close to the next floor. So here's like 3 or 4 monster ideas. Everybody vote for it, and whatever wins based off this day is going to be what the next dungeon floor is going to be. So like the first 3 dungeon floors were all voted on by Royal Road readers. So that was
I've done some polls too, mostly for bonus chapters, like, do you want me to write about this or that? But I've had some moments where I've talked to people and like, I've got a choice about this dungeon or this creature or this character, progression. Like, what do you think, A, B, or C? And it's interesting because sometimes people get really like, well, if this is your work, I don't want to tell you what your story should be about. And I have to laugh because like, I don't know, it's so much, to me, it's more exciting to have like collaborative creation. And if you pick a dinosaur dungeon versus a, farm or whatever, right? Like the breathing the life into it, that's what I live for. I don't care if I'm writing about dinosaurs or farms or, whatever.
Right, yeah. Like I've already brainstormed the different types of monster ideas. So it's a matter of like all of these sound fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys want? Like, what do the readers want? Because yeah, it's my world, but I've already brainstormed 50 bajillion different ways to do
Mm-hmm.
these creatures. How I bring them to life is going to be the fun challenge. And so, pick
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
But I also, that was also the same time that I used to do my writing stream. And so people would come out, and that was 3 hours of me hanging out, drinking bourbon, and letting people throw prompts out for me. And I would write flash fiction for them right then and there.
Yeah,
Just
which
like,
is wild and amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So I like the spirit. Like I really enjoy the collaborative spirit of, and yeah, I think one of the things that this is a career shift for me to be a writer, and I struggle with I don't want to say loneliness, but the isolation of just sitting in front of your computer by yourself,
oh yeah,
yeah. And that sort of collaboration and conversation helps a lot.
right. And I felt like it was also just fun too, because like then the readers are getting to see something that they had input on come to life,
Mm-hmm.
and like especially like the writing stream, you had a bunch of readers like and fans or just random people that are like, I have this idea, and then to get to see it come to life, for them, they're like, huh, that was so fun, or that's not where I thought it was going to go, but it was entertaining, or regardless. But at the very, yeah, I think at the like center of it all though is just like you said with the isolation bit is um stories are inherently something that is collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't, if you're just telling a story in an empty room, it's not the same. So
Yeah.
every like that's that feeling of everybody telling stories around a campfire, everybody gathered around just telling stories, swapping tales to pass the
Mm-hmm.
time. Like the moment you get more people involved with it in any way, shape, or form, like it feels more human.
Yeah. And it makes it more, I don't know, like I think if you also don't get those outside influences, authors have a tendency to just kind of become like maybe a little too like in their own world. Like everything becomes predictable if you know this author because they're just kind of reproducing what they think instead of having these
Right.
outside influences too. Yeah.
They've gotten like just purely formulaic and everything. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the other thing. It's like, yeah, that's like tell stories, you need experiences.
Yeah.
Experiences drive creativity.
Yeah. It's I mean this whole concept is one of the reasons why D&D can be so engaging for people, because that really is the collaborative storytelling. And I'll tell you, as a forever DM, my my friends have taken me in journeys that I had not planned at all. Like I mean, it does add a lot of spice to whatever story you're trying to tell.
A lot
So
of D&D games have a lot of spice too. But yeah,
yeah.
I am also
Yeah.
forever DM, and yeah, my wife and her friends, who I run the campaign for, I leave a lot of those sessions. I'm just like, how I don't even know how we got here, but
Yeah.
we roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It just happens sometimes. So well, Iron Eyes has a question that they frequently ask authors. Ren, how do you balance writing with real life responsibilities, and how has that changed the further you've gotten in your journey?
So yeah, real life usually like always comes first. And my only saving grace is that I'm a fast writer. So I can do like 3,000 words in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I only get like an hour or two to go down to the office and write, I can still be productive. But
That's
yeah,
still enough. Yeah.
first and foremost, yeah,
Yeah.
everything real life is um, at the forefront. So it's like if I need to do things with my dogs, if my wife needs me, if the in-laws need me for something, if I want to go play tennis because I need physical activity or something, like that's all stuff that I put first and foremost because
Mm-hmm.
again, I feel like part of that is making sure that the real life and everything is good and sorted out in order lets me have a clear enough mind to be able to write without any worries or thoughts or concerns. Otherwise, if I'm writing but I know things are falling behind in real life, like that's going to weigh on my mind, which is going to affect my writing.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you like a full-time author now, or are you balancing? Yeah.
I've been full time since 2019.
Okay. Yeah. It's amazing how even at like a full-time writing sort of aspect, that the life stuff that's still out there that can kind of weigh on you. I feel like, I mean, you almost think that like, oh, we're gonna have all the time in the world to write, but then, there's still a lot of stuff in life that can
Well,
kind of
and,
kick you out unbalanced, right?
and it's well, it's really hard too because like there's so many things that can like unbalance you and like weigh on your mind and keep you like from being able to write or get into the right mindsets for doing things, which is why I usually write multiple stories at a single time. So whatever mood I'm in, I can still kind of write based off the vibe there. I just blanked on where I was going with this. I was going somewhere. Fetch. I had a really good point and then I lost it. Oh, yeah. So the other issue though is like, because like as a full-time writer, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, she's just self-employed. She can write whenever. So all of a sudden it's not like if you had a 9 to 5 where people are like, oh yeah, you're working from 9 to 5. Like you can't be bothered. That's respected. Like it's Monday through Friday. You're working 9 to 5. Like there's,
everybody knows you're not going to answer the phone because it's,
being a full-time writer, it's just oh, she's free. She can do this. She can do that. Because, oh, she can write whenever. She can just sit down and do it whenever. So it's does not get respected as much because people have that, misconception about writing at times.
Yeah.
Which obviously is also partially my fault because again, they've seen me just sit down and write on a whim. And so
on a 3 a.m. Live stream event.
Right. While drinking heavily.
Yeah.
Just like, she can, it's not that serious.
She'll be fine. Well, I'm saying that their writing has gotten to a crawl monthly, mainly because they have to make time for school friends and partners and stuff, which, yeah. I mean, that real life is real. So that was a stupid statement. But, if the rest of your life isn't put together, then you're writing,
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like I said, my productivity has skyrocketed since JordanCon last year. But that was also because I started finding and kind of replacing times that I was doom scrolling or like sitting and just watching shows or just sitting around. I started replacing those with times to write. And so like throughout the day, I'll have times that I go down to my office and I'll work on stories that are down in my office. But then I also have my laptop at the ready. So I'm like, oh, if I'm just hanging out, if my wife's working, I could be like, I could doom scroll TikTok, I could put on a show, or I can sit down and lose myself in a new world and start writing. And writing's always been first and foremost for me was something that I did as an escape. It was always just something that I did because I enjoyed it and it was an escape and I had fun doing it. And so I'm like, why am I going to sit and just doom scroll and make myself depressed when I can instead just pull my laptop out and start something new and fun?
Much healthier escape, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, Brian's got a question. Brian, I need some context. Are you asking us to be metaphorical in this? I'm assuming. Brian says, you're faced with a salad bar. Walk us through your construction methods.
I look at it and I walk away because I don't eat salads.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Brian, give us a little bit more. What are you looking for here? So, Ren rejects salads.
I literally don't eat salads. Like,
yeah,
the texture messes with me, so I don't touch salads.
Salad bars are also maybe not the preferred way if you are going to eat a salad. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so let's talk a little bit about JordanCon. Congrats on being a panelist. I'm excited. I think JordanCon's going to be a blast this year. You said last year was your first time. Can you tell us a little bit about like some of your favorite moments from JordanCon last year?
Oh my gosh, I had so many. One, there's a place called Crafts and Cocktails within walking distance of JordanCon, and I believe it was Friday night, Thursday or Friday night. I went there with Jessica Ritchie came along, Ryan Reed. It was the Sound Booth Theater gang, and we all had like amazing food there and drinks, and it was all super delicious, and it was just really great to get to hang out with everybody there. There was another fun night where I was with like Geneva and Joe and Jeremy and Lindsay. We had like a big group, like 10 people. But that one was kind of funny because we went to like B-Dubs first, Buffalo Wild Wings. But they were crowded. It was going to be a wait. So we're like, okay, cool. We're all going to like wait. And Jeremy and I went and got Long Island's. And the moment we get our Long Island's, we get back and Geneva was like, yeah, I don't want to eat here anymore. So we're like, okay, well, we'll go somewhere else. Jeremy and I had just got Long Island, so we chugged those.
Oh man,
we just completely chugged the Long Island.
That's the beginning of a fun night.
And we were like, bet, let's go. And so we walked like another 5 minutes to Cheesecake Factory. So my first time like actually eating an entree at Cheesecake Factory. It was really good, but yeah, I was walking and I'm like, make sure I don't do anything stupid, guys. And then proceeded to sit down and ordered another drink, as one does.
Yeah.
But so those, I mean, so like the meals were just great with everybody. There was karaoke Friday night, which, oh yeah, Thursday night, Steven proposed to Tori, which was a very sweet moment. And then so Friday night there was karaoke, and for the final song, we had like all of the LitRPG authors up there because Steven and Tori were singing to each other, Summer Loving from Greece.
I love it. So you guys
we were all up there as the background music for it, which was a ton of fun. Got kind of crazy though, because a really drunk person came up on stage as we were singing and proceeded to fall through the stage in the back.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just also the final night, Sunday night into Monday morning, was like everybody was like finishing off all the drinks, and we all just like had a huge crowd of LitRPG authors, and we were all just like playing like kind of the get to know you type card games. And so everybody was like telling stories and throwing shade at each other, and just like it was so like found family and just camaraderie and like togetherness. So like that is LitRPG when it comes to like the community and the authors and everything, is like everybody's so just there for each other, and like it was so nice. So definitely left there with some very, very close new friends, and a lot more energy to move forward.
That's awesome. I think, a few of the authors I've talked to, after Dragon Con, there isn't really, now Guildify didn't happen this year, so there wasn't really like a winter con that all of us went to. So everybody's like, can we please just get to Jordan? Like, we need that energy. We need that, coming out of the, the cold months here.
Right.
Coming back together. Yeah. That's great. Is there anything that you're looking forward to about this year in particular?
Honestly, just like getting back and seeing everybody again. I have no idea yet, like what the panels are going to be that I'm going to be on. Though I swear, if this is like the third panel that I end up crying on a panel on, I'm going to be so sad. so last year, Jordan Con's my very first ever time being on like as like a panelist at a convention ever. And they're the 10 a.m. panels, both Saturday and Sunday. So like the first thing in the morning, everybody's still waking up. And one of the panels had Michael Chatfield as the
I've heard of this. I've heard the
Michael Chatfield as the moderator, and it was talking about like the importance of diversity and inclusion and everything within LitRPG and stories. And he is asking some heavy hitting questions, like very deep, soul-filled type questions. And like Ryan Reed starts answering, and he's like, his voice is breaking and he starts crying. And he kind of like opens up the like, let's go heart to heart, sharing our,
the
deepest parts with everybody.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, by the end of it, like everybody's just like crying, and it's just like emotionally, drained. 30 minutes later, I'm on another panel that is writing Grimdark and discussing Grimdark and dystopian societies and the darkness of human nature. So I just got emotionally destroyed talking about, needing found family and the importance of like inclusion and being able to be yourself. And all of this and then go into talking about the darkness of humanity and the dark side of human aspects and nature and everything. And I was just like, I was so done. I'm like, nobody warned me for this back-to-back just emotional whiplash. I needed the entire rest of the day to like recover. I was like, I am not okay.
That would be a rough first like panel at con experience. Yeah. Whew. No wonder you guys were like, okay, let's get out here and get some dinner.
I was just like, how dare you all? And they're like, oh, it was such good panels. And I'm like, uh-huh. As I'm like downing my 5th drink in an hour. I'm just like,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You're like, dissecting my heart. Well, I'm sure it was interesting, but
I was like, sure, great. I'm so glad you guys all got so much out of it. Now I need to piece myself back together.
Well, hopefully this year it's a little bit lighter. I think that the panel, I don't know when the panel information is coming out. I think
Should
they're
be
still
soon. I think
finalizing.
middle of March, roughly last year was when I found out.
Okay.
Question mark.
So we've got maybe a couple more weeks, few more weeks. Yeah.
Then I got thrown on that same panel though at LitRPG Con and it all repeated itself.
Dun dun dun. The grimdark one or the
no, the importance of diversity and everything in LitRPG. It was a complete repeat too. They threw me and Ryan on together once again, and I'm like,
I was on there too. Yeah, that was
yeah. Like we had everybody crying at the end.
It was a packed hall too. It wasn't.
I know
it wasn't an intimate affair. It was
somebody came in with like a camera. Like they came in and were like
recording. Let's zoom in on those crocodile tears. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was our first panel together.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was I mean, yeah. I didn't expect being a panelist to get so many hugs afterwards. That was kind of
right.
Yeah.
That was such a wild one. Also, I think that morning though was the one that I'd forgotten to eat the day before. So I think I had been like sad girl trying to eat a croissant. Because I hadn't eaten for 24 hours.
Excuse me while I cry into my croissant. Yeah.
Because I was busy doing con things and forgot that food is something you should consume.
So what we need is a backpack full of snacks.
Well, my wife is coming to LitRPG Con this year, so she said I could not be trusted running around Denver to take care of myself because I hadn't last time.
Yeah. My spouse is also coming to LitRPG Con for similar reasons. I think I told Geneva that they need to like organize like the spouses retreat during LitRPG Con so they can like go hiking or get a manicure or spa or whatever, while we're all falling apart in panels.
Right.
So yeah. Well, Jordan Con is literally for Robert Jordan. Like that was like the foundation of the con. And this year it sounds like it's going to be a little bit bigger because Brandon Sanderson is making an appearance, which I'm hoping doesn't disrupt that like smaller con experience for everybody. Yeah.
At the very least, the nighttime will probably feel the same.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I heard that there's like a dance and then there's the karaoke night. So there's a few things that are going on. Are you a Robert Jordan fan? Like what made you like apply to be a panelist at the first one?
So I am a Robert Jordan fan. I started reading the Wheel of Time series in like the 4th grade. So
we discovered that there's a little bit of an age difference between us, and that memory for me was a little bit older. And yeah. I love it. Yeah.
But yes, so I grew up reading Jordan. Jordan was like my formative, inspirations growing up was Jordan, Tracy Weiss, Hickman, Salvatore, all the
classics, Good Kind and
McCarthy
and stuff. Yeah.
All of those. And so I'd heard of Jordan Con. 2 years ago was the first one that they were kind of like having the LitRPG presence at. And so that was when like Matt and all of them were going, and I wanted to go, but I was actually busy because my wife was hosting a dog agility trial. And so I was like, no, I'm going to help with the trial. Because Atlanta's only like 2.5 hours away from me. So it's it's a local, I can drive to it type convention. And then Matt gave me a hard time for not going.
Yeah. I mean, dog agility trial. I mean, Matt's a cat person, but like to me, that seems like a good excuse.
Matt messaged and he was like, you know what? I didn't know there was dog agility going on. I'm going to leave the con and come up there.
Come up there.
And I was like, don't you dare, because everybody will hate me.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
But so then the next year I applied for it and I was like, I'll apply. If I get a spot, I get a spot. If not, it is what it is. And then it was like a month before the convention and I was already still going. I get messaged, like Geneva was like, hey, they haven't heard back from you. They approved you as a panelist. And I'm like, they did what now? So it was like it was this scramble because actually I wasn't going to go. And because I hadn't gotten chosen. And then it was like a month before. And apparently they had approved me, but it had gotten lost in spam or quarantine or something. And so it's this huge scramble. And so I was like, changed plans and went, and it was the weekend before the dog agility trial. So it was great.
Yeah.
And so this year I already signed up to go. It's already yep, I'm going to be a panelist and all of this. And when I signed up, the dog agility trial was not in the calendar. It is actually the same weekend, so I am in trouble. But I am still going to be there.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to maybe we can talk your wife into live streaming some of the dog agility. I think that would be a popular poll for folks just to get a live stream of the dog agility trials. We'll have to.
Don't think that's gonna work. He's usually pretty busy, running the trial.
Yeah. Need to hire some teenager to hold the camera. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for spending time with me. We're crazily at the hour. Last little bits, socials, when your next book is out. I mean, obviously everybody needs to go buy The Silent Blades and go read it. I'm looking at all of you on the feed. But what's next? You said you have quite a few books coming out this year.
Yeah, so actually Beast of the Black Hills, which is the sequel to Flamespitter, releases in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Comes out March 3rd.
Right.
So
got to go pre-order it. Yeah.
Quickly, on the heels of the Silent Blades.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the sequel to Resonance. So Dead 2 is finishing up developmental edits right now. So that'll be with the narrator probably here in about 2 months, which means it'll probably release in September, October, November timeframe. And then I have a romantasy series that I signed with Audible. That book 1 should be out in November.
Nice.
So
is that romantasy LitRPG at all, or progression, or is it just straight up?
It's I guess you could call it progression fantasy. There's cultivation aspects in it, but it's romantasy.
Got it. Love it.
Dragon Riders too.
Ooh, all right. Yes. Gotta love Dragon Riders. Sounds like you've got a busy year. Yeah. Quite a, and you still have Tamer's Gauntlet going on Royal Road. And
Tamer's Gauntlet. I was going to say that first draft should be with Aethon. I think I'm going to get it to them by June was my promise.
Yeah.
Which means that'll probably release, potentially into the year.
Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. And we're all going to have to cross our fingers on Steampunk Apocalypse, Steampunk Ninja Apocalypse. We'll just put all the buzzwords in there. Yeah. Silent Blades for a sequel for that one too. Yeah. Savannah says they're going to have plenty of snacks at both JordanCon and LitRPG Con, so they can be like snack mom, with the tote of snacks for us all, which was great. And thanks for joining me tonight, Ren.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Always amazing. All right, folks, have a good night. I'm next. What is my next one? My next one is going to be the Reck and Pop show on the 24th, which is Tuesday. I don't think we've got a guest for that one, so we'll just be talking about what we've been reading and talking about JordanCon and the rest of it. So join me next Tuesday, and have a good night, everybody. Yeah, thanks for joining.